My name is Kelly Twitchell. I am a licensed occupational therapist and entrepreneur passionate about outdoor accessibility and inclusion in adaptive sports. I am here today to present to you an introduction to adaptive surfing. So as I mentioned, I'm an OT. I'm based in San Diego, California, and I'm also the co-inventor of a portable pathway system called BeachTrack. I invented it with another classmate in OT school in 2016, and the portable pathway system was inspired by the need of adaptive surfers to get across the beach with dignity and independence. This pathway can be circumstances, and through that mission, I've gotten really close within the adaptive surfing community, which is exactly why I am here today to share a little bit more information with you about the sport I'm so passionate about. So I wanted to start off with showing you some images and a quick video that my friend Spike Kane did as an interview from the International Surfing Association a few years back. I felt that it really showcased what adaptive surfing is all about, and that you can really do it no matter what your abilities are. So we'll go right into Spike's quick interview, and then we'll come back and finish off the presentation.
My name is Spike Kane. I'm originally from Liverpool, England, and I now live in Vista, California. Right, so my wave ski is modified. I'm a pretty high-level injury. So I'm a T1 complete spinal cord injury with a C5 incomplete. So I have limited hand movement in my right, but very good dexterity. I have no core whatsoever, so I have a backrest with a body support here. So I strap in around the chest, which helps me stay seated upright. And then I strap my legs down. And I use the paddle to manipulate the wave ski onto the wave. For somebody who's been recently injured and finds that their life has changed dramatically to a format that they have absolutely no experience with, my message would be, you're going to be okay. You're going to be more than okay. Your life is actually probably going to get a lot more interesting. You're going to meet incredible people. And you're going to experience a soulful therapy through recreation. You know, there is struggle, but we're all out here, we're doing this. We'll get you in the water. You need to know about it, give us a shout.
Okay, I hope you thoroughly enjoyed that quick introduction that Spike gave to adaptive surfing, and what it can do for people after a traumatic injury, and the fact that really anyone can try it out. So that's Spike, and he is pictured here on the slide in what's called a wave ski, which he described a little bit in his interview. How you sit on it, you have a paddle to help navigate the waves in the ocean, and you can have a seat back or not, depending on your abilities. You might be wondering, okay, so who all is adaptive surfing for? I am here to confidently tell you that pretty much anyone can try adaptive. People from spinal cord injuries, cerebral palsy, spina bifida, all the way to after stroke. It doesn't matter who you are. The fact that you're willing to try it out and really check out the types of adaptation helpful for you to get the most out of the sport and participate safely, but still have fun. So in the other image on this slide, you'll see a few of them actually have a visual impairment. So you can still surf even if you have little to have a person out in the water with you to help call out the waves, call out when a set's coming in, keep you safe from other surfers out in the lineup. and really just kind of help guide you. But otherwise, the surfer with the visual impairment is the one doing all of the work. You know, they're feeling the waves, they're hearing the waves, and they're able to navigate that sport just fine. So really by kind of showcasing the different types of adaptive surfing. And again, I'm probably going to miss a few, but because there's so many out there, everyone is unique with their abilities and skills. But these are kind of the main ones I'll touch upon. I will also describe some adaptive surfing equipment that you might find helpful. And again, this is something, everyone is unique, so there will be adaptations out there that I will not cover. This is a brief overview, but it's really exciting to kind of see possibilities for you, and you can always make something up, right? What's best for you? How can you modify and adapt something? So here on this slide, you'll see, again, Spike, and he is surfing in a different way than wave ski. It is called prone. Prone just means you're surfing on your stomach on the board. You'll see Spike, he has some handles for his hands to grab onto. It's hard to tell in the picture, but he also has a cushion on the board to protect his chest and his chin from hitting on the top of that board when he goes through waves. And he's able to steer by leaning and using his arms and his body weight. So there's a couple types of prone surfing. There's what's called assisted, meaning that you do need other people in the water with you to help you navigate paddling through the waves or catching the waves. And there's unassisted, which just means that you don't need that assistance to help paddle. And then you see in the other image, this is Colin. He survived a shark attack where he lost the lower part of his left leg, and he surfs with a surfing prosthetic. You might ask, well, why is there a prosthetic specifically for surfing? There's a couple different reasons for that, and it could vary from person to person. One is just their preference. You know, we don't know if that person ends up with their left leg in front versus their right leg, and they're going to have a different type of prosthetic depending on that, because surfing requires your standing to help you best navigate and balance on those waves. So Colin does have a surfing prosthetic that's different from his everyday walking prosthetic. And this is also probably because there is a risk that he could lose that prosthetic in the water. So you don't want to have your everyday walking prosthetic probably for out in the water. Here on this slide, we have a couple of other examples of adaptive surfing. You have Victoria. She is kneeling on board. She does have a spinal cord type injury, but it's lower level. So she's able to have the core strength to bend over, to really grab onto the board on the side, which are the rails, to help steer. So kneeling is just another way of adaptive surfing. And then in the other image here, you see that these two young men have birth defects, which affects their limbs. And so they surf either on their stomach or kind of what's called like sitting on the board or kneeling, depending on their preference. So these two young men, depending, will be able to paddle, or they'll have someone assisting them in the water. But I really wanted to highlight that adaptive surfing, the benefits, well, one of the huge benefits is a sense of community. You'll get to meet people from different backgrounds, different abilities, and they're all just going out. And so every volunteered for or worked at, everyone is so kind. They're really cheering each other on, even if they're competing against each other. And oftentimes they're from different communities or even different countries. So it's really cool to see everyone communicating and just sharing their stories and sharing how they're able to tackle adaptive surfing with different equipment and strategies. So it's really amazing. Some of the other benefits of adaptive surfing include, just like any other sport, is mental health, social health. You know, you're able to establish friendships and get out there and meet new people, as well as physical health, right? So it's definitely exercise surfing. If you've ever tried it or not, you may or may not know, but it really takes a lot of paddling and cardiovascular health to get out into the surf zone through the waves, and then of course navigating those waves. There's a lot to the sport, but it's really good for you in multiple ways. So now we're going to move on to some common types of surfing equipment for adaptive surfers. And you'll see in the image, the two gentlemen, they have different types of chairs to help them get across the sand to the water. One has a manual chair with larger wheels, larger caster wheels to help navigate that soft sand. Those are still a little bit difficult to push. And then you have the other gentleman, Mark. He is in his power chair specifically for the beach and navigating that difficult terrain. You'll see between them, that's another wave ski, and it's a little bit more up close so you can see the paddle. Mark does use a seat back for his wave ski, so you'll see that. And you'll see kind of these big wheels in the back of it. And the next image where I'm helping Chris and his yellow wave ski, you'll see a better picture of what those wheels are. It's basically a special trailer that they've made to help launch them into the water across the sand. You don't want to drag your wave ski in the sand because you typically will have fins on the bottom, just like a typical surfboard. So you want to protect those fins, and you want to also make it easier for the people who are helping you launch into the water by having that trailer and those wheels. So once we launch Chris into the water, wave ski will start to float, and then that trailer will kind of come off. It's not connected in any way. Chris is just holding on to the trailer to keep it secure. And then once he's in the water, we'll take that trailer back up onto the beach and have it ready for him when he's ready to come back onto the beach from surfing. Other types of equipment, we'll see manual wheelchair users will like to use what's called a freewheel attachment on the front of their chair. You may be familiar with that. This just helps lift up those caster wheels so they're not dragging, especially in that soft sand. And I do see a lot of people who are adaptive surfers who will have a separate chair dedicated to the off-road terrain and protect their everyday chair from getting sand and their ball bearings and everything. So it is helpful to have two separate chairs for that instance. You'll see in the other image here, this is Quinn. She's from Coronado, a good friend of mine, and she's an adaptive surfer. This is at a competition. She is in a beach wheelchair. It's specifically designed to go into the water. So when we're doing her surf use chair, also to help get from everyday chair up on the beach all the way down to the water. We use this chair for transfer. They are very hard to push, so you'll see a few people helping her. They're also just trying to go quickly. These chairs do not allow them to independently propel themselves, so that's just one kind of downside to these big chairs. They're very helpful for adaptive surfers. Some more equipment. You'll see, I wanted to show you my friend Beto. He is a quadriplegic. That does not define him. He is also an adaptive surfer, and he just has a little bit extra help out in the water for safety. So Beto uses a couple of extra straps with cushions on them to help secure him to the board. So he's using his wrist to kind of grab onto those straps, and then he's able to steer a little bit by leaning with his body weight on that board. So for adaptive surfers who are prone assisted, like Beto, they will have typically at least two people in the water. They will have one person designated as the pusher, which is someone who is, as they're in the surf zone ready to catch a wave, that person will help push them into the wave of their choice to help Beto score the most points if it's in a competition, or of course just have the most fun getting the good wave. And then on the other side towards the shore, there's going to be the catcher. This person is going to help safely catch Beto as he comes in towards the shore as he's on that wave, because Beto's not able to stop himself on the board. He will hit the shoreline and his fins will drag in the sand. That catcher helps prevent that from happening. He'll turn Beto around if he's ready to catch another wave and help get him back to where the pusher is positioned in the water. So he helps paddle him through the waves to get to that zone. Another piece of equipment that you might see in this other image of this young man, this is Parker, is of course the freewheel, which we mentioned, but on the side of his chair you'll notice some PVC pipe, and it's kind of attached to the side of his chair to help him carry his surfboard or other items. And in this particular picture, he has an item in there that is a piece of my product, the Beach Trax portable pathway system. He's demonstrating that he can carry a piece of that product on that attachment as well. So kind of speaking about my product, my company, Access Tracks, empowers people of all abilities to safely and easily access outdoor areas using our innovative modular pathway solution. This product is not only just for the beach, but you can use it on grass, on dirt, but it's really meant to just help you get that you want and need to go, and really proud to have helped make this product reality. More images, product accordion folds for easy installation, and you can use it just for a couple hours or for a whole beach season. It's really up to the user. Each panel individually is a 3 foot by 3 foot square, only weighing about 5 pounds. So it's great for families who are traveling, somebody who doesn't have a whole slew of volunteers perhaps to help set it up. It's great for families, adaptive athletes, and sports organizations. We've also been installed in different national parks, as well as city municipalities for beach access. You may be wondering, okay, so I've learned a little bit more about adaptive surfing, the different ways I might be able to surf, how it could benefit me, but what about where you get to do it, right? So there is an annual premier event for surfing, for adaptive surfing, and it's the World Parasurfing Championship. So far, since 2015, it's happened in San Diego, but that could change in the future. We have over 23 nations that participate and over 120 surfers, both male and female. And we have a classification system to determine which category you can compete in for surfing based on the system developed by OTs and PTs according to the International Paralympic Committee guidelines. So really what we're pushing for is the sport of adaptive surfing to be added to the Paralympics in the future. So this may be 2024 or 2028 at the earliest, but we're really excited to keep pushing for this to be added. So it's a wonderful sport, and there are definitely people from all over the world competing to participate. Okay, so this particular event was developed by the International Surfing Association. Then we have the US Open Adaptive Surfing Championship. So this happens just like the World Adaptive Surfing Championship, and this began in 2017. I've been involved in this since the year it started, either volunteering or as a sponsor, and it's so much fun. It's really similar to the World Parasurfing Championship, but there's two key differences. One is that it is put on by the Stoke for Life Foundation based out of Oceanside, California. And the second is that classification system is similar, but we have additional categories for surfers. So the Paralympic guidelines do not have a category in adaptive surfing right now for hearing impaired athletes or for wave ski, because they determine wave ski as a completely separate sport. But here at the US Open, they have categories for wave ski and categories for hearing impaired surfers. I just wanted to touch upon, there's a few other organizations, definitely more than a few actually, that do adaptive surfing. So you may find some near you. And this is not an exhaustive list. There's many more, but there's organizations in North Carolina, New England, New York, Oregon, Hawaii, Florida, California, and then organizations like Life Rolls On, they have events in multiple states. They do kind of a tour every year. So it also has events in multiple states. So really a lot in the United States. There's also international organizations. There's some in Mexico, the United Kingdom, and most recently Costa Rica. So it's a growing sport. And chances are you're going to find someone close enough to you where you can get involved in some way. Or maybe you'll travel to go visit one of these organizations and participate. So along those lines, kind of how do you get involved? Who do you go to? Like, how do you get started? So one, I would definitely ask your therapist or your friend about local adaptive sports programs. Maybe they know a little bit. There might be different support groups that you may be involved with that you can just ask a question online and somebody will probably know who to refer you to. And also, if you go online to Move United, which was formerly the USA Disabled Sports or Disabled Sports USA, they're going to have an entire database of sports chapters. So it's not specific to surfing, but you could probably use a filter to find which sport you're looking for. Tons of opportunities there. Disabled Sports USA, that was what it was previously named, and is now Move United. And then if you're wondering about, okay, well, how do I afford some of this adaptive equipment or for the travel? And I'm here to tell you that the good news is there are organizations that have grant opportunities for adaptive sports equipment and travel. Some of these are the Challenged Athletes Foundation, Kelly Brush Foundation, and Rouse Riders Foundation. Reach out to them to find out more. Thank you so much for tuning in to my webinar as an introduction to adaptive surfing. I hope you learned a little bit and hopefully you to pique that curiosity and learn more after this presentation. But please do keep in touch. I have my email and my website on the slide right now. Whether it's related to adaptive surfing or not, I would love to stay in touch. And of course, if you have questions about Beach Tracks portable pathway and my company Access Tracks, I would also love to get in touch with you. Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.